this gentleman is a doctor, and I believe he has even brought some people in this world, because you can't get here without coming through a woman's womb, right? Nobody can get here without coming through the womb. So he's responsible for bringing some people in here. Almost me. I think he got my baby brother. I just found that out recently, right? He's acclaimed, has a lot of accolades, but his main accolade is the health, or the womb health of our women, especially in our community, because he's been practicing for almost 40 years. And when I tell you what he does as far as in the surgery and women's wombs and what he's been doing to protect that, he is top class at that. So we're going to bring in Dr. Malloy to share some nuggets on to why this product that we just saw is going to benefit our community as well as the rest of the world.
First of all, we just about did my presentation. We talked about the problems with sanitary napkins. But before I get started, remember this day, May 28th. It is Menstrual Hygiene Day. A lot of people didn't even know that existed. May 28th.
My birthday.
Okay, it's Menstrual Hygiene Day. And the reason they came up with that date, the average woman has a 28-day cycle, and you will be bleed about 5 days. May is the 5th month. May 28th is Menstrual Hygiene Day, and it's celebrated around the world, concerned about women's health. So I want you to remember that day. Now let's also start talking about why are we even here. Okay, why are we here? We're here because we are well aware of the fact that women have had issues, problems, health concerns, that maybe they had no clue, maybe they thought they knew the reason. They went to see a doctor, the doctor did what he could, and then they left out of there, maybe satisfied, maybe dissatisfied, maybe given medication, not told about any significant prognosis, and we lived with that because that's all we knew. Even though I've been practicing in Atlanta, in South DeKalb, since 1981, I was not aware of some of the potential problems that sanitary napkins, tampons, douching could do to women. I was well aware of vaginitis. I was well aware of anal, endometriosis, uterine fibroids, vulvar cancer, vulvitis. But I did not know that there was a possibility that conditions like diabetes, conditions like thyroid disease, conditions like hypertension, conditions like what they call metabolic syndrome, conditions that we don't necessarily associate with GYN, could still have been caused by sanitary napkins. We don't understand is that when the body is affected by any trauma, and toxin is a trauma, that goes through the body. It doesn't just remain localized, in the vagina or the vulva or the cervix or the uterus. It goes throughout the body. So a lot of times when you've had illnesses that you went to your internist about, and they put you on this particular medication, that particular medication, no one would have thought that maybe the culprit was because there were toxins entering your body that was actually disseminated and causing some of those issues. So our mission is not just to help educate about the menstrual aspects and the bleeding and having a pad that is excellent and absorbing, and it's thinking about the total body. I remember when I was in medical school, and our professors used to say, when a person comes in with an illness, just don't treat that illness. Find out about their entire lifestyle. Because you may find out that they're only eating one meal a day. That they're not doing certain things. That may be the cause of their medical problem. Not because their blood count is low, maybe their blood count is low because they're not eating anything that's going to raise their blood count. Look at the total body. So a lot of times, some of the illnesses that we've had, could have been related to those problems of sanitary napkins. There are two, last time I gave this talk, and some of you heard me give this talk several times, there are now two congresswomen who are presenting bills, to find out, to ask the FDA, make these companies tell people what is in those sanitary napkins. Two congresswomen now, Grace Meng and Carolyn Maloney. You can look them up on the internet. One of them has just presented a bill in January. It's a menstrual hygiene bill. She also presented one in 2017 concerning what is in those pads. So there are people who are moving in our direction. What I haven't told Mr. Trump, because we're both going to be at that conference, is that on that second day, everyone from that Graphene conference, they're going to Capitol Hill. And of course, it's a big thing. Graphene is, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And what I'm going to try to do is to see if we can get an appointment to actually speak with Grace Meng and Carolyn Maloney, because we know they're on our side. But we want them to know that we exist. So I'm going to try, and the reason it's funny, I'm going to come from the angle that Grace Meng is actually the congresswoman for Queens. Forest Hills, Kew Gardens. Now I'm from St. Albans, Jamaica, but I'm going to use that as my way of getting in with her. She even went to a competing high school. She went to Peter Stuyvesant, I went to Brooklyn Tech, but she probably won't say anything about that. But I'm going to actually use that, to try to get in with her, because I want everybody to know about us, about our movement. People can talk about it, people can have the bills, but we're actually trying to do something. So I just wanted to talk about, that is the reason that we're here, because we are concerned. And Mr. Trump already talked about the fact that we know that from those pads, everyone knows about the dioxin, they know about the phthalate, they know about acetone, they know about all the chemicals that are in those pads. And we don't even know all the chemicals, because no one's telling us. Now, I'm going to give this talk a little later on. Someone did a study looking at, I was amazed. It was like 25 chemicals and toxins that are in those pads. I'm going to give you that information. But that was independent. That wasn't the FDA, going up to those companies and saying, make this public. No. It was somebody who went on their own to see what was in those pads. And so we have to understand that what we've been using, probably has caused a lot of the issues where no one can explain the cause. And we just have to understand that, for some of us, I know a lot of you may have had fibroids, you may have already had a hysterectomy, you may have had some other issues, but we can't think about just us. That's right. We have to think about our future, our children, our grandchildren, and so I'm not going to belabor that much anymore, because like I say, most of you know that we've talked about the fact that these pads are bad. I'm not even going to get into talking about them. But let me expound a little bit about graphene. Because someone may say, well, what is, we told you about graphene, but where did it come from? Why all of a sudden, is this considered the wonder material? They're saying that the 21st century is going to be the graphene century. You would be amazed all the things that are being done with graphene. And the reason you're hearing a lot about it, because it was just in 2010 that they got the Nobel Prize for it. They kind of knew about it, but they didn't know how to make it on a regular basis. Now, you may not be familiar with the word graphene, but you are familiar with the word of where graphene comes from, and that is graphite. Your pencil, that is graphite. That's where graphene comes from. It's a process. It's called exfoliation, where they actually rip away the layers of atoms off of graphite, and when it gets to a single atom, that is the graphene. So you have something that is so small, it's invisible, okay, but it is the strongest, the best electrical conductor, the best thermal conductor that is known to man. And with that is this revolution now, because every industry is trying to take advantage of it. There are so many aspects of graphene. Okay, just the other day I was reading in the UK, they were raising money for them to make bulletproof vests with graphene. Now they only needed, I forgot what it was in pounds, but about $500,000 US. Before they could blink an eye, they had $2.5 million. Okay, because someone saw the benefit. Golf balls, okay, rackets, the batteries, the lithium-ion batteries. You'll be able to charge a battery in 5 minutes. Okay, because it is, you saw it, the conductive ability of graphene is insane. It's insane. And that's why those men won the Nobel Prize for Physics. Okay, just 9 years ago. Okay, so graphene, because it's nothing but carbon atoms. It's just carbon atoms. Because it is so thin, it's malleable. Okay, you can take it and you can do anything with it. Okay, you can work with it easily to put in a sanitary napkin, and what it does, its ability to absorb fluid is profound. 1,000 times the weight of that atom working together to absorb, okay, fluid from the body. So not only we talk about menstrual cycles, and Mr. Trump knows I'll talk about this too, but for those of you who aren't having any more cycles, probably half of you in here probably have some issues of urinary leakage, whether it's stress incontinence, whether it's urgency incontinence, whether it's overflow incontinence. Okay, almost half postmenopausal women will lose some urine. And what have you been doing? You've been using penny liners. You've been using pads, depending on how bad it is. So you have still been putting those toxic pads on you even after your menstrual flow stopped. Okay, so it's a process that still continues. These pads, just like the pads you're using for the urine, will be able to not only do the same, but even better, because the absorption is not just pulling it away from
oh my God! What are you doing to us, Katrina? You're ridiculous.
I need that break. So it will pull that urine away from the body. Okay, so I don't spend a lot of time on incontinence, but the bottom line is, when he was talking about the bacteria, it's not only antibacterial, it's also bactericidal. Let me explain the difference. Okay, antibacterial means it prevents the bacteria from growing. Okay, so when that bacteria comes out of the vagina, and every woman has bacteria in the vagina. It is supposed to be. It's mixed with your yeast in symbiosis. It stays together. It keeps the pH of your vagina at a certain level. Okay, and that's why if you're going to the doc and he's giving you some antibiotics for, let's say, an ear infection or something, and you end up with a yeast infection. The reason you ended up with a yeast infection is because you wiped out the good bacteria in the vagina, and the yeast looked around and said, hey, nobody's keeping me in check, and they took off. Okay, so that bacteria, it's okay when it's in the vagina, but when it comes out, and now it's sitting on that pad up against that vulva, and it's multiplying, the toxins from that bacteria now, mixed with those chemicals, okay, from that pad, go back into your system. Go back into your system. So the advantage of this graphene sanitary napkin, it will prevent that from happening, And the bacteria that does come out, it slices, like you were saying, just like a knife. It cuts through the wall of the bacteria. You cut through the wall of the bacteria is the same as me cutting through the wall of your body. You understand? And the bacteria dies. It's anti-fungicidal. Okay? And then, in addition to those things, it also allows for oxygen to get to those tissues. When you have a sore or a sprain, what do? You put a heating pad. The reason you put that heating pad there is that you want to open up the blood vessels so that oxygen goes to that area to promote healing, to help with the discomfort. Well, that's the same exact thing that graphene is. It's an excellent heat conductor. Okay, so it will also permeate into the pelvis and allow oxygen to get to those tissues, and that's why your periods aren't as long. That's why your periods all of the things that I'm saying are the physiologic aspects of the body. There's nothing magical. Okay, that's what he does. Okay, opens the blood vessels, and when you open the blood vessels, more blood goes, and guess what? Oxygen is carried in the blood, so more oxygen goes to that area. And when you really think about what is a cycle is no more than that tissue sloughing off, and then it's healing in preparation for that egg. Okay, so if something can make that healing process speed up, well then you're going to have less bleeding. You're going to have less cramping. Okay, so that is what this graphene pad will do. And give me. I know I keep talking, but I just want to say that I've been doing this for 30-something years. I love being a gynecologist. Okay, I think there's some of my patients are out there. Someone told me I delivered their grandchild. And to know that I can be part of a company that is going to make a difference in North America. Woo! Wow! It's the penultimate of my career. And I thank being involved with Mr. Trump, and I thank Vincent for introducing me. And we're going to make it. We're going to make a difference. May 28th, Menstrual Hygiene Day.